Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affairs MCQs program. Let's begin with previous day's practice question. Question was, consider the following statements related to state contingent debt instruments. 1. It facilitates debt restructuring by offering bonds with payouts tied to specific economic or fiscal targets. 2. They have a fixed interest rate. 3. They act as deal accelerators amid major disagreements on a country's economic outlook. How many of the above statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none? The correct answer is option B, only two. State contingent debt instruments, that is SCDIs, help to speed up debt restructuring by offering bonds with payouts contingent on countries meeting specific economic or fiscal targets. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Example, GDP-linked bonds issued by Ukraine that are tied to economic growth. They do not have a fixed interest rate. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Payout structure varies depending on economic growth, natural resource revenue, or tax receipts. SCDIs act as deal accelerators, especially in cases where there are fundamental disagreements about a country's economic outlook. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Now, let's begin today's episode. First question is, consider the following pairs: term and cyber threat. 1. Phishing involves emails tricking users into revealing sensitive details. 2. Malware used to encrypt files and demand payment for decryption. 3. Ransomware steals personal information to control a victim's computer. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Only one, only two, all three, or none? The correct answer is option A, only one. Phishing involves sending emails that appear to be from trusted sources. These emails trick users into clicking on links that lead to fraudulent websites where attackers can capture sensitive information such as credit card numbers and passwords. Hence, pair 1 is correctly matched. While malware can take various forms and serve different purposes, it does not specifically encrypt files or demand payment. Instead, malware is a broad category of software designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems. Hence, pair 2 is not correctly matched. Ransomware is specifically a type of malware that encrypts a victim's files and demands payment for decryption. It does not focus on stealing personal information to gain control of a computer. Hence, pair 3 is incorrectly matched. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Next question, consider the following statements about Indo-Tibetan Border Police or ITBP. 1. ITBP is primarily responsible for guarding the entire Indo-China border under the One Border, One Force policy. 2. It specializes in operations in the Himalayan regions and is designated as the first responder for natural disasters there. 3. The ITBP's motto is Shaurya Dridhta Karma Nishtha. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 3, or 2 and 3 only? The correct answer is option C, 1, 2 and 3. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police, raised in 1962, is responsible for guarding the India-China border following the One Border, One Force policy. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It specializes in operations in the Himalayan regions and is designated as the first responder for natural disasters there. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Its motto is Shaurya Dridhta Karma Nishtha, that is valor, steadfastness, dedication. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Next question, consider the following statements about India's approach to managing air quality in the Indo-gangetic plain. 1. The recently constituted Coordination Committee for the IGP Airshed by MOEFCC aims to manage air quality across state boundaries with a regional plan. 2. The current framework for air quality management in India is effective in regulating pollution across both urban and peri-urban areas. 3. Expanding airshed level management would include establishing differentiated air quality standards and measures across diverse regions to improve health outcomes. How many of the statements given above are not correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none? The correct answer is option A, only one. Air quality in the Indo-gangetic plain. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change established a coordination committee specifically for the IGP Airshed, aiming for a coordinated approach to air quality management that transcends administrative boundaries. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The current framework largely focuses on city-centric air quality regulation, which often neglects peri-urban and regional pollution sources and is mostly regulated by individual state pollution control boards, limiting effectiveness. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Expanding to an airshed level approach across different airsheds could enable region-specific standards to better address varying baseline air quality levels, sources, and meteorology, enhancing public health protection. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Next question regarding Web 3, consider the following statements. 1. Web 3 is mainly about ownership of data, transactions, and assets, unlike Web 1 and Web 2, which focus on information access and connectivity respectively. 2. The Web 3 part, financial system would reduce the need for intermediaries, potentially eliminating roles like property registrars and clearing houses. Which of the statements given above are not correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 or 2? The correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. That is, both the statements are correct. Web 3 marks a shift from the focus on information and connectivity seen in Web 1 and Web 2 to ownership of data, assets, and transactions through decentralized and user-controlled systems. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Web 3's infrastructure, including smart contracts, could reduce the need for intermediaries, facilitating instant transactions and real-time tax payments, thus reducing traditional roles like property registrars and clearing houses. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option D is the correct answer. Next question, consider the following statements. 1. The International Monetary Fund's current lending capacity is restricted, limiting its effectiveness as a financial safety net for member countries. 2. The World Bank's allocation for climate-related projects now comprises 2/3 of its lending, which diverts significantly from traditional development projects. 3. Reforms in the governance structure of both the IMF and World Bank are needed to better reflect the current economic power of nations like India and China. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none? The correct answer is option B, only 2. The IMF's resources represent less than 1% of the global economy, restricting its ability to support 191 countries and address global crises like climate change. Hence, statement 1 is correct. While the World Bank has increased its focus on climate-related projects to 41% of its lending, it is not as high as 2/3, and the shift does raise concerns about balancing traditional development work. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. There is a recognized need to reform the IMF and World Bank's governance to reflect the current economic standing of emerging economies, as countries like India and China hold smaller voting shares despite their economic influence. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Next question, consider the following statements regarding India's AI mission. 1. The mission focuses on building AI capacity solely through government-led initiatives, excluding private sector involvement. 2. The India Datasets platform will provide anonymized data to startups and researchers to drive innovation in AI. Which of the statements given above are not correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option A, 1 only. India's AI mission. The AI mission indeed aims to create a substantial computing capacity targeting between 10,000 to 30,000 GPUs. The mission encourages public-private partnerships, including collaborations with companies like NVIDIA to enhance AI development in India. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. The India Datasets platform will provide anonymized datasets to support AI research and innovation for startups and researchers. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Next question, consider the following statements regarding India's FAME and PM E-Drive schemes. 1. PM E-Drive focuses primarily on increasing the adoption of electric buses to introduce over 14,000 e-buses in the next 2 years. 2. Under the updated scheme, incentives for electric two-wheelers have been significantly reduced compared to FAME 2, reflecting the segment's growth. 3. A new payment security mechanism has been introduced to provide financial support to private electric vehicle owners facing cash flow issues. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none? The correct answer is option B, only 2. FAME and PME drive schemes. PME drive places a major emphasis on the adoption of electric buses with the target to introduce 14,028 e-buses, constituting a significant part of the total budget allocation. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Incentives for E2Ws have been reduced from the FAME 2 rates with a shift toward promoting the sector through reduced subsidies as sales and segment maturity grow. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The payment security mechanism is designed to support public transport authorities in meeting financial obligations under the gross cost contract model, not private electric vehicle owners. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding the inflation management. 1. The RBI primarily aims to keep inflation within the target range of 4% plus minus 2% under its flexible inflation targeting framework. 2. Food inflation, especially from volatile vegetable prices, has a minor impact on India's consumer price index inflation. 3. The RBI's repo rate decisions are often influenced by the inflation levels, especially when food inflation remains high. How many of the statements given above are not correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none? The correct answer is option A, only one. Inflation management. The RBI follows a flexible inflation targeting framework with a target of 4% plus minus 2% for CPI inflation. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Food inflation, particularly from volatile vegetables like onions and tomatoes, has a substantial impact on CPI inflation in India. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. High food inflation affects RBI's decisions on repo rate adjustments due to its impact on overall inflation. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding the anti-defection law in India. 1. The Anti-defection law was introduced in India through the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985, adding the 10th schedule. 2. The 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003 removed the provision allowing a split in a party requiring at least 2/3 of the members for a merger to avoid disqualification. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? The correct answer is option C, both 1 and 2. The Anti-defection law was introduced by the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985, adding the 10th schedule to the Constitution to prevent defections. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003 removed the provision allowing a split in a party requiring at least 2/3 of the members for a merge to avoid disqualification. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The Supreme Court in Kesham Megha Chandra Singh versus Speaker, Manipur Legislative Assembly 2020 suggested replacing the Speaker with an independent tribunal to ensure impartiality in defection cases. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Last question. Consider the following statements related to microfinance institutions. 1. They primarily target low-income and unemployed populations. 2. They are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. 3. The Devsthali Committee was appointed to recommend reforms in microfinance institutions. How many of the above statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none? The correct answer is option B, only 2. Microfinance institutions are financial companies that provide small loans or other financial services to people who don't have access to banking facilities. The goal of microfinance is to help low-income and unemployed people become self-sufficient. Hence, statement 1 is correct. It serves as a powerful tool for financial inclusion, helping marginalized and low-income groups, especially women, to achieve social equity and empowerment. The RBI regulates MFIs under the NBFC MFI Framework 2014, which covers client protection, borrower safeguards, privacy, and credit pricing. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The Malegaon Committee, officially referred to as the Committee on Microfinance Institutions, was established by the Reserve Bank of India in 2010. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Its purpose was to examine the challenges and issues associated with the microfinance institutions in India. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Now, moving on to practice question. Tenkana Jayamangali and Tenkana Arkavati, recently in news, is related to which of the following species? Snake, spider, lizard, or frog? Send the answer of this question in the comment section. Thanks for watching. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.